Hey there! So, I've got a saggy rear end. Well, not me personally, but the MU-X does. And today I'm going to tell you how we can fix it for less than $500. Let me explain. So we've had our camper trailer for a couple of months now, and we've taken it out a few times, and we thought this might happen, but when we tow it, there's a bit too much ball weight on the car's stock suspension, and we have quite a bit of sag in the rear. Now, it's not uncommon on stock suspension, and we're not quite in a position at the moment to put a lift kit or wanting to put constant rate springs or some of those other upgrades in just yet. Because we still like the drivability of the car, and we want to make sure that when we do a lift and those sorts of things that we do it right. So as an interim solution, what we've decided to do is put in a set of Airbag Man airbags to help carry that additional load without compromising the drivability of the car when we're not towing. Now, one of the great things about this particular kit, especially for the MU-X, is that there's no special tools, no cutting, no drilling. All we need to do is jack the car up off the ground, and once the rear end's fully extended, we can slide the airbag in between some of the coils of the rear springs, and then we'll be done. So let's get the car up off the ground and see how we go installing them. If you're enjoying these videos that we're putting out, it would be great if you could like and subscribe. It helps a lot and encourages us to keep creating more. The first step was to remove the spare tyre to give myself plenty of working room under the car. Next up was to jack up the car. I started using the bottle jack before quickly moving over to the trolley jack, but it's still one of my most despised jobs when working on a car. I absolutely hate jacking cars up. It's the worst thing in the world. I then started to install the valves into the bracket, which would be mounted on the accessories plate within the tow bar. The kit that I'm installing is the high pressure airbag kit, which allows these airbags to be pumped up to 60 psi. This includes installing the airbags into these additional covers, which are a little bit more fiddly than expected. Then next, I needed to slide the airbags into the springs. However, this proved to be far more difficult than I expected. It looks like getting the airbag in there with the spring still in is going to be really hard. I've just talked to a mate and he reckons that they never do them with the springs in, so I'm going to drop the shock bolts and the shocks, take the spring out, and then it should be a whole lot easier. So we'll see how we go. Okay, so drop the shock and the spring is out. Had to give it a few taps to get it out, but I did. Now it's down here, so I'm going to get to work putting the airbag in and seeing how I go now. The kit comes with a little stopper to place into the end of the pipe to allow you to keep the airbag deflated while sliding it into the springs. So the airbag's in the spring. I've got to pull the line again through now, and then I'll try and reseat this spring. hopefully it's not too difficult. Far later than I thought it was going to be, wrapping this one up, but both of them are in. I haven't tested them yet, so we'll do that now and see how we went. But a bit of a pain. Would not recommend to do this at home on the ground. Before the airbags, when we hitched up the fully loaded camper, we drop about 80mm down to 460mm from guard to the centre of the hub. Now with the airbags installed and also hitching up a fully loaded trailer, you can see how little that the car's rear suspension compresses down with the airbags pumped up to 40 psi. The MU-X now only drops 30mm, and with the added height that the airbags gain, the car now sits level when towing. And shortly after we headed away for the weekend, not only to test out the airbags, but to get away as a family and relax. The location we were staying at was a sheep farm in Joyce's Creek, about half an hour from Castlemaine. The weekend that we went away happened to coincide with the first rains in more than 3 months of drought, and a freshly ploughed paddock meant that it was slightly boggy, but that didn't stop us from enjoying our weekend away. So it's been a few weeks now since we've been up to Joyce's Creek and back, and it made such a big difference to the ride and the comfort of the car. So not only did it fix that 80mm height drop and having the nose pointing up into the air when we were driving, when we went over bumps, when we went over bounces, it didn't feel like that the suspension was bottoming out onto the bump stops anymore, which it wasn't. And so apart from the additional weight that we were towing, it didn't feel any different to driving the car without having the trailer on it, which is such a relief. It made it much more comfortable. It gave me a lot more confidence towing the trailer, and I'm sure that the suspension is grateful for it too.